Alright, we're back again today with another video. Sorry for the delay in videos. I know it's been a long time since I posted up anything or uploaded any new content, but I've just been kind of going through some stuff. But today we're going to be talking about the August releases and go over some of the things that I plan on picking up. I can't do anything about the steals and the undefeated fours because they released on the 2nd, and I'm recording this after the 2nd, so those two releases have already came and went, so there's nothing I can do about covering content on that in this video. I wanted this video to go up at the beginning of August. That way it will give us time to plan and prepare for some of the releases coming up, but things didn't kind of work out the way it should, so I'm recording this video a little bit later. But we will go through a complete guide of some of the shoes coming out in August, and what I plan on purchasing. Like I said earlier, I can't do anything about the undefeated fours and the Jordan 10 steals because they released on the 2nd and the date has already passed. I will cover them in future videos, provide more content on those shoes because those are two shoes that I do plan on picking up. But before we go any further, could you guys make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when I upload any new content or any new videos. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, so if we get that, it will help the channel grow, and it will push the channel a little bit more. Thank you. The first shoe that we're going to talk about is the Air Jordan 4 denim. It is releasing on August 9th. I think it's a women's exclusive, or comes in women's sizing. The retail price will be $220, and the upper just kind of comes across as a all over like denim material, and then the bottom has like some kind of gum bottom or something like that, or a white, kind of like a white midsole down there at the bottom as well. They did a denim Jordan 4 a couple of years back, but I think it was more so on the kind of like limited side. They had a black denim, a blue denim, and I think a white denim. So yeah, that whole ideal of a denim on a Jordan 4 has been done before. This is not a shoe that I'm looking to pick up. I probably will sleep or pass on this. So yeah, that's a no for me on the Air Jordan 4 women's. So next up, releasing on August 16th, we have the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 1 Low. I'm not the biggest fan on Jordan 1 Lows. You would know that if you watch some of my content or some of my previous content. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't have any. I don't wear them. I don't claim to be like the biggest fan of them. But with this being a collab and kind of like a decent looking shoe, if I could possibly get a pair for retail, I would take it. Kind of use it as like trade bait or anything like that. It's not a bad shoe. I think it comes with spare sets of laces, one set of red laces, and then one set of like cream or off-white color laces. I haven't seen the packaging, but I'm sure it's gonna come in like some very detailed, nice packaging. The follow-up to the Air Jordan 4 Nigel Sylvesters. I don't want to make the same mistake twice, so the best thing to do would kind of see if I can grab it for retail, and if I don't like the shoe, then I can just move off of it, or if I do happen to like it, I can keep it and wear it, and kind of get some content out of it. But yeah, I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice, and if I'm able to get it, I will get it. It's not a bad looking shoe. I think the upper comes in like some kind of like leather, black leather. It looks to be like scraped up or worn or broken into. So I think it has like a cream or maybe like a sail midsole. The swoosh looks to be sail or maybe like cream as well, but the red laces in it kind of sets it off and makes it pop a little bit more. So the shoe does come dressed in a all over black upper, It does have a red bottom. The midsole looks to be like a cream or sail midsole. It does have that small little swoosh up there on the toe cap, and that is a cream or sail swoosh. The accent, the Nike Air on the tongue looks to be red or like burgundy. And of course, you know, it does come with those 2 sets of laces, the cream laces that come factory lace with it, and then the red laces that come as a spare set of laces. But the more I look at this shoe, the better it starts to look. You know, I'm kind of going back on my word and saying that, you know, I don't like lows, I don't wear them, but I would go after a pair of these, you know, just to get them in hand, you know, give a review, and if I like the shoe, I'll keep the shoe. But judging from my past and seeing how I don't, too much wear Air Jordan 1 lows, I would kind of, move off of it if I wasn't, feeling the shoe like I did. But just looking at the images, I do like it the more and more I look at it. So yeah, I will be going after a pair of the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 1. So up next, releasing on the same day, August 16th, is the Air Jordan 12 French Blues. I was, looking to pick up a pair of these. I passed up on the Jordan 12 Mellows earlier in the year because they were looking somewhat similar to, the French Blues. I think the last time they released the French Blues was 2016, maybe. I'm not really sure, but I'll have to, do some research on that as well. But yeah, I was kind of looking to pick these up. But these may be a shoe that I can, just kind of sit back and wait on. Try to see if they go on sale, or they sit around in stores or whatever. Look for a deal. So yes, I did check, and the last time the Jordan 12 French Blues release was in 2016. So that is a correction to what I said earlier. I think I said 2015. But yeah, I will be trying to go after a pair of these. But what makes it kind of tough is it releases on the same day as the Nigel Sylvester Jordan 1 lows. So that's 165, and then that's another 210 on top of that. So kind of got to pick and choose, especially for those two shoes that are kind of like lower on my list, of things that I want to pick up. But yeah, it's probably gonna be one or the other for me, because these are not like must-haves for me. So, and I'm kind of leaning more towards the Jordan 1 Nigel Sylvesters, with that being a collab and somewhat kind of like being limited. I would kind of go after that more, and kind of double back on the 12s and see if I can get them later for like a deal or a steal or something like that. So finally, on August 23rd, we have the Jordan 1 OG High Shattered Backboards. This shoe released earlier overseas. They had a, I think, July release date, which was the original release date that they should have kept, but they decided to push it back into August to kind of align things, I guess, with back to school. But I don't think the shoe is going to do what everybody's expecting it to do. This is not 2015 or 2016 no more. Jordan 1s are a thing, kind of a thing of the past now. They don't have that hype, pushing it for it. So I think this shoe will be available for people to come and pick up at their leisure, I guess. I will be trying to get a pair for retail. I could have had the shoe earlier, kind of had an early review on it, because it's not going for much now. So yeah, I think this shoe will kind of, hang around in stores. People won't be in a rush to, go pick it up. I'll be happy to have it in my collection and add it to my collection. It is almost identical to the 2015 pair. Some people would say maybe the quality isn't there, but they did their best, trying to bring back a 10-year-old shoe. So You know, everything's not gonna be, you know, spot on. They did put the insole inside the sneaker. You know, there is spare lace. It comes in with spare laces. It does come in some new and updated packaging. So, you know, there are things there that, you know, make the shoe work. Closing out the month of August, you do have a Jordan 5 collab. It is the Awake NYC. There's a pink pair and a blue pair. I'm not a fan of either of them. It's gonna be a pass for me on both pairs. I think the A, you know, kind of going down the middle of the shoe just kind of threw the shoe off. It is a very nice colorway, you know, both colorways, you know, the pink pair and the black pair. But it's just, you know, not something I'm looking forward to picking up. If I was trying to go after a pair, I would probably choose the black pair, which is kind of, you know, more desirable, I guess. But, you know, to me, it's just both of them is just kind of, you know, doing too much with the A going down the middle of the center of the shoe. But other than that, you know, it's probably got some nice quality on there. Probably comes in some kind of special packaging as well, but and I'm not really sure what retail will be, but yeah, it's not something that I'm looking forward to going after. So that is a pass for me on both of the Awake NYC Jordan 5. August 28th, we will have another release of the Undefeated 4s on Sneakers app. You know, I will go over more content leading up into that release. And also on the Undefeated 4s and also on the Steel 10s as well. I think the whole month of August will be more so about the Undefeated 4s because the people that hit the pairs on the website and with the EQL raffle, they got a notification saying that their pairs will ship out by the 29th due to high demand, I guess. But yeah, I think the Undefeated 4s will be on everybody's mind for the foreseeable future. So, you know, we'll cover, you know, more content leading up into that release as well. But that is a shoe that I'm looking to go after and to purchase. So, yes, I will be picking up a pair of the Undefeated 4s. Like I always tell y'all, all work is easy work when you're doing what you love to do. Y'all stay blessed, and I'll catch y'all next time.